It's now May 12th, age 767, as the galactic-level Emperor lands on the Earth. With the directions he was given by the Dragon Team, he flies off towards an island that's 9 kilometers southwest of South City. They arrive at their destination at 9:30 AM since the android threat was foretold to appear around 10 AM. As everyone starts to gather around, they all get introduced to Trunks, while Vegeta is nowhere to be seen. Also, in the past 6 months, King Cold and Banyu have indeed gone through their training with T-Bara. He does learn the basics of instant transmission, but since his race seems to have far more potential, he would be able to do this far faster than Goku did, so he would be able to learn the advanced things of spirit control, such as Force Spirit Fission, while Banyu would only be able to learn the basics of instant transmission. Also, through the spirit control parts of it, a lot of his ego and overconfidence are mellowed out. Unfortunately, he wouldn't have much free time, so he wouldn't be able to work towards trying to unlock the 5th form he's seen Cooler use, though he'll likely still keep trying for it after he leaves Planet Yardrat, since he now knows there's a power beyond his current final form. Anyway, when he left, he would have a clear mind and the Yardratians would have agreed to join his empire. Anyway, Yajirobe does show up and gives them the sensu beans, but he is then shot down as usual. When they start to come up with a plan of what to do, King Cold says he'll send some of his elite squadrons down to search the area. Once they find the androids, they'll power up as a signal for them to follow since the heroes can sense ki. Also, King Cold would send another squadron to go and rescue Yajirobe and Bulma, but Gohan would go with the squadron too. The androids are quickly noticed by one of the squadrons, mainly only being noticed once they start to attack people. As they raise their energy, the heroes notice this and quickly fly off towards them. Any soldiers that were injured before the heroes got there were taken by others back to the ships and healing pods, meaning Krillin didn't have to leave or use any sensu beans yet, though this also means they wouldn't have learned about the androids being able to steal energy yet. Once Goku suggests going somewhere where no one is around, Dr. Gero, or Android 20, destroys the city, angering Goku. From there, Goku leads into the southern continent to fight where others aren't around. Once Gohan sees them fly off, he leaves Bulma and Yajirobe to follow them. Once arriving there, Tien picks up on Goku being winded even though nothing happened yet, but Goku still shows off Super Saiyan, since the androids have never seen it. Afterwards, the fight with Android 19 goes basically the exact same, but the heroes don't realize their energy absorbing technique until they see 19 absorb the Kamehameha. At this point, Goku was losing a lot of energy from the heart virus and he started to clutch his chest. After they realize it's the heart virus taking effect, they try to use the sensor beam and even it didn't help. From there, Android 19 starts to absorb his energy, and when the heroes try to step in, Android 20 gets in the way. Piccolo tries to attack Android 20 but is shot down as per usual. So from there, Vegeta flies in and attacks Android 19. Piccolo gets up when he hears that Vegeta is mentioned, with Vegeta kicking Goku to him. Yamcha then offers to take Goku and leaves with him, but Android 20 stops Android 19 from chasing him, saying to save the best for last. King Cold steps in to face Android 20 while Vegeta goes Super Saiyan and starts fighting Android 19, but this time it isn't a surprise as they see him transform against Cooler. Vegeta's fight goes basically the same, with him ripping off 19's hands and blasting him when he runs away, causing his head to roll off. With Android 19 destroyed and Android 20 getting beaten back easily, he starts to think of a way to escape. When he sees an opening, he flees into the nearby mountains and hides from them. King Cold flies off after Android 20, then Vegeta gets his sensu bean from Krillin and does the same, with the rest of the heroes following. Once they start looking for Android 20, he comes up with a plan to ambush Piccolo instead of Vegeta and King Cold because he's the next strongest. Piccolo still speaks to Gohan telepathically and all the heroes fly to Piccolo shortly after, saving him and giving him a sensu bean. Piccolo tells Vegeta to let them fight, Vegeta ends up going much the same, with Piccolo cutting off Android 20's hand. In the meantime, Future Trunks arrives and finds Android 19's remains near where he sent the Dragon Team, and as usual, he's confused about who this android is. Future Trunks then flies to where the heroes are and asks who they're fighting, and informs them that those aren't the right androids. Vegeta still learns that Trunks is his kid by Piccolo shouting his name when he first flies in, and that's when Bulma and Yajirobe start to fly in, and Android 20 sees his chance to escape. He blasts down their ship and Future Trunks rushes over to save them, as Android 20 flees. After saving them and as Vegeta was about to chase Android 20, Future Trunks flies in and asks Vegeta why he didn't save his wife or kid. Vegeta then says he has no interest in them and flies off, leaving the future warrior dumbfounded. Bulma reveals Android 20 as Dr. Joe and explains where she thinks his laboratory is, so they can go on the search for it. Future Trunks also explains what the androids look like, so they don't make the same mistake. Vegeta then flies off to go find these androids to fight them, since he said the ones they fought are boring. Future Trunks would chase him down as normal and Piccolo would tell Gohan to take Bulma and Trunks to his house, which he would comply and fly off with them. After Krillin, Tien, Piccolo, and Banyu take off to search for the laboratory, This is where King Cold would step in. He would use his instant transmission to teleport in front of Vegeta and slam him into the ground. Of course, this would anger Vegeta, and he would quickly come back up and start fighting with the Monarch. While this fight is going on, Future Trunks would just be there for a minute watching, until King Cold finally shouts at him, "What are you doing? Go help find the laboratory while I hold Vegeta off." To which Future Trunks would hurry and fly off to search for the lab, while King Cold transforms into his third form to fight Vegeta. Even in his third form, he is still behind Vegeta in power. Vegeta being who he is would allow King Cold to transform into his fourth form, which this is his last form as of right now. This would close the gap in their power by a large amount, with Vegeta still seemingly having the advantage. After this fight goes on for a little bit and Vegeta starts to get bored, as a last resort King Cold would say he hasn't used all his power yet. The Saiyan Prince would, of course, play along with this and allow King Cold to use his full power. King Cold starts to power up, eventually stopping once he unleashes his full power. Normally, this final form would lose to a Super Saiyan, but there's two major things to point out. King Cold was far stronger than both of his sons in this form, so he would at least be the level of the Super Saiyan in it. Also, his power would have grown exponentially because of his training on Yardrat, which is something Vegeta wouldn't know about. Vegeta would of course still be his overly cocky self and say something along the lines of, "No matter how much you power up, you'll still be no match for me. Your son had a form beyond that, and he was still no match for me once I became a Super Saiyan." This cockiness doesn't last long though, as King Cold immediately grabs him by the head and slams him into the nearest mountain. With King Cold now using his full power to fight Vegeta, he has the advantage over the Prince, even when he is a Super Saiyan. As the fight goes on and Vegeta is continuously being beaten, he would just keep getting angrier and angrier. The angrier he gets, the more blinded by his rage he becomes, and he starts fighting sloppier. Meanwhile, Krillin, Tien, Piccolo, and Banyu would decide to split up to find Dr. Gero's lab, and if one of them finds it, they will raise their ki to let the others know. The four split the senzu beans between each other and then split up. Krillin then spots Android 20 as he was going into his lab. When the android notices this, he just brushes it off, saying, "It's just Krillin, he can't do anything." Which, of course, as per the android is wrong, and Krillin raises his ki quickly to alert the other members of the Dragon Team. Piccolo, Tien, Banyu, and Future Trunks all arrive relatively fast to Krillin's location and land outside the entrance of the lab. Back at the fight between the Galactic Monarch and the Saiyan Prince, Vegeta is getting pummeled. King Cold would most likely have learned to sense ki on Yardrat, so once he notices a spike in Krillin's ki, he would think something is going wrong. So, he would tell the Prince, "This has been fun, Vegeta, but it's clear you stand no chance against me anymore." To which he would then quickly knock the Prince out and just throw him down on the ground to his side. Afterwards, he would race off to where Krillin's ki is, and he would land alongside the rest of the heroes. On the other side of the door to the laboratory, Dr. Gero released Android 17 first and then Android 18. Gero gives them the command to take care of Goku's allies, but once they notice the shutdown remote in his hand, Android 17 quickly takes it and smashes it. Around this time is when the heroes realize they're too late and Piccolo blasts down the door. Once the androids go to release Android 16, Dr. Gero starts to protest, so Android 17 stabs him through the chest with his arm, kicks off his head, and crushes it mercilessly. Future Trunks tries to blast him and stop them from awakening 16, but it doesn't work as the lab was destroyed but his capsule was unharmed. Android 16 then awakens and exits his pod, where Android 17 and 18 start to question him, but they don't get an answer out of the giant android until they ask if his goal is to kill Goku, which, of course, Android 16 would reply yes, and even though Android 17 and 18 hated Gero, they agree they at least need a goal and decide to go to kill Goku. Meanwhile, as the heroes watch this, they start to question if this is Android 16 and how strong he is, to which Future Trunks would tell them he has no clue. These androids never appeared in his timeline. Vegeta would have woken up at this point, not being knocked out for long, and flew to where the other heroes are. He would basically arrive just in time to see the androids take off. Krillin would realize they're heading towards Goku House, which he would share with the others. Vegeta, of course, would still get mad at seeing the androids flee to find Goku when he is right there. He would tell King Cold something along the lines of "I'll deal with you later," then fly off in the direction of the androids. Trunks would try to intervene, saying they must wait for Goku. Vegeta would still inform Future Trunks he hates Goku more than he does the androids, then punches him in the gut, and flies off after the android trio. Android 17 still lands on the road to try and find a vehicle as well. They also learn here that unlike them, Android 16 is completely man-made, meaning he doesn't have a human base like Android 17 and 18 does. Shortly after, Vegeta lands on the road and challenges them to a fight. They suggest Android 16 to fight the Prince to see what he can do. The gentle giant refuses, so Android 18 steps up to take him on instead. As the fight between the two starts, the other heroes appear with King Cold and Banyu because of the help of their instant transmission.